what's happened is that they've created this space in order to display their work. But it does a lot more than that, because what it actually allows people to do is other schools in other remote areas or other parts of Australia where they've got students in years 10, 11 or 12 who are doing tasks that are assessed and that are really important to their own schooling and their outcomes, those kids get to see what other kids' work looks like. So it's really very, very important for anyone who's doing any kind of study to know what the benchmarks are, to know what very, very good work looks like. So if we're able to create spaces like this where we can put up, or the students can put up their own best work to show their best practice, then other people will know what good practice looks like. And across the system that will lift the expectations and it will lift the outcomes for the kids. It's also a lot of fun. If we just move out of here, and this is part of a larger space, and Quintello and any other avatars that are in there, if you could just follow me round to the vacant block. Around here, and they'll show up in a minute. Just while we're waiting for them. There's one of them. And it doesn't all have to be about art too. There's a hell of a lot of maths that can be taught within this environment, because all the things that you see can actually be built by the students, and depending upon how far you want to drill down into the nature of the three-dimensional objects and stuff like that, there's a lot of work that can be done in mathematics. Quintello, are you with me yet? Will you help Lydia? And Shai, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you just create the basic block using the build tool? There we are, a couple of the avatars are making some blocks, and if you can resize them and maybe put a picture on one of the sides. What you can't see on this screen is you can't see the grid lines, so I'll do something similar just while they're working. Everything in this environment is made out of these basic shapes. And this is where all the maths and that sort of stuff comes into play. So if you're doing architecture or design or one of those sorts of areas, that sort of thing interests you. So Quintello, can you tell everyone what you're doing? What are you going to put on the side of that?
We're putting a photo. It's
Okay, so here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students in there working. And they could be 5 students, they could be anywhere in Australia. You know, one in Tasmania, one in South Australia. And so it's actually possible to create small groups of kids, like a small student council or something like that. And they could meet on a regular basis in this environment, talk about what's important to them around school, and that's the sort of stuff that we're trying to get up and running in Victoria. Because the school that I work in, the kids, the school's not so much remote, but the kids are all over the state. So in order to get them to come to school, we're looking at creating spaces like this for them to attend, only because they can't actually come to the school site. Susan, did you want to talk about the Photoshop stuff?
Where's Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Phil's our graphic artist from Cairns, so Phil's come up for 3 days to work with students on Photoshop. And he's done an outstanding job, as well as the students. The students first designed their drafts, and they did a great job. They were so keen, and they had amazing comical characters. And they developed a draft storyboard. From there, they were scanned into Photoshop, and Photoshop is an industry standard tool. So these guys, if they continue to work with Photoshop, they could possibly have a career in graphic arts, and that's really important. That's an important part of this project, is to look at future pathways. So Phil had them working very, very hard over the last 3 days, and they have produced some outstanding results. And comic book covers like Bruce the Shark, this is industry standard, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in, like 3 days, students can get to this standard, which is amazing. And all the other students, have got to this level as well. So Mark and I and Phil feel very strongly about the connection to showcase the students' work in Skoolaborate to the greater audience, to a global world. It's important that Birmingham was first, NPAC was first to be able to do this. And everyone's going to have to step up, because I think the bar's been raised, and the work that's been produced this week has been absolutely outstanding. I'm sure you'd all agree with me. Can I say some thank yous?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I'd like to thank Ken McLean, first of all, in his absence, the principal here. Ken supported us coming to Birmingham and being able to present this project. His amazing wife, Shirley, who was a great host and made us all feel very welcome. To Pauline Long and Roger Bartlett, who tirelessly have worked and catered for every need this week. They have been incredible. I think the kids, we should all give Pauline and Roger a big round of applause. Yeah, and all these incredible students that sit in front of you. They have been so focused. They are unbelievably talented, and there's no limit to their success, really. So, we wish them all the best in the future, and I hope that we get invited back sometime.
Yeah. Can I just say, I think that it's really important that you understand that nowhere in Australia is anybody doing any of this sort of work. Up in Birmingham, we're a million miles away from a lot of parts of Australia, but you are doing something that is so unique and is so cutting edge that this will be, in a couple of years' time, we'll be looking back on this and we'll be saying, this is where it started with you people and you kids. You'll be out of high school, you'll be doing whatever it is, following whatever pathway you're on, but you'll see this stuff and you'll say, I was a part of the very first group of students that did this stuff in this environment. It might not seem important to you now, but it will then. Yeah, you've done a fantastic job, so thank you. Thanks, Susan, for the morning tea.
There's morning tea, everyone. Please.
Susan, before you finish, I'd also like to thank you coming up here. I know you've done a lot of work, and Phil and Mark. You came up on Saturday. You spent a lot of time setting up, and the work the students have done is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for your time. I know a lot of time went into preparing for this week as well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Sandwiches?
Sandwiches.